I can't tell if it's just getting older and everybody, like I'm in my 30s, so I'm like, is everybody going through the same thing, or am I going through very specific things because I have worn out my body for the last decade?
Well, I do always say I think chefs age like gymnasts, but you know, they age out early.
Should we do disco light? Nah, not for hip hop. Spotlight. I might do without these though. These are so bright. Oh, that's so much better. Nah, so tonight it's a hip hop showcase. So it's gonna be the whole bar. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have different artists and stuff come in. Music artists. Cause like a lot of people, especially in the art world, they don't get to show off their work, you know? And
listen, I started off making music through this first song I made. We was in college, shit crazy, shit blew up, I didn't even know how. And, but you know what, DJ, just spin that.
Ladies, this is a real conversation.
Listen, I wanna take you on a date. I wanna rub on your waist. I wanna kiss on your face. Listen, I wanna take you on a date. I wanna rub on your waist. I wanna kiss on your face, so you can show me how it tastes. Baby, slow wine for me, slow wine for me, slow wine for me, slow wine.
This is so good. Why did we order these more?
I don't know.
I'm so happy with this. Thank you.
What's your name?
Dalia. What's your name? You have the Ted Lasso mustache.
I've heard that before. I've never seen the show.
Oh, I think you might like
I've
it.
never seen it either.
I think you might like it too. I feel like most people like that show.
Is it a comedy?
It's comedy,
Not a big comedy
philosophical. It's philosophical. You might like that. It's kind of dark.
I like dark.
Yeah, it's dark, but it's heartfelt. Sometimes funny. Wait, so tell me about this crib. Did you finish building it?
I did finish building it. Someone gave it to me. It's very nice. And,
Okay.
it's
Like
cool.
fancy,
You know,
like posh.
it's posh, yeah. Well, it depends. There's always more posh, right? So I can't say for you
I mean, I don't
if it's
know.
posh or not.
I don't have a.
For me, it's posh.
Yeah.
One of the things that's weird about like what you and I do for work is I feel like we know both ends of the spectrum because we're not necessarily posh, but we are providing a posh service. So we're aware of how posh things can be, but also like somewhere down here.
It's a weird place to be like kind of in limbo. It's like my clients are like a lot of times the 1%. And I'm in these homes that, you know, I'm contracted never to take pictures and things like that, so it's always off social media, but like the stuff I see on a daily basis, I'm very thankful. My environments are beautiful and like, you know, very good for my brain in that way, and it's clean and all that, but I don't know, it's like you're living in two different social paradigms at all times. And then the people,
And
right?
same in the restaurant too,
Yeah.
but the only difference, I used to private chef a little too, and I stopped, I couldn't handle it. And I think the only main difference is that I have all the control. Whereas when I worked in their home, I felt like they had all the control. No, in the restaurant I have the control.
True.
Like I've served the same guests sometimes.
Okay, but in their homes and you feel like you've lost. Well, why do you say that? It's still your food. You're still making choices on the menu.
Some.
Okay, yeah, sometimes
If they like
want,
it.
Sure, yeah, they want to have their
Whereas
input.
in the restaurant, I create
get to
the
make
experience I want to
decisions.
create. And if people don't like it, they just don't come.
They don't come, yeah.
Actually, the reason I really didn't like it is because when they would be like, can you buy toilet paper or, you know,
No, I
various
mean,
things.
that's not your job, and
No, I
that's
know.
something you can say. I mean, one client
Which, of
almost
course,
had
I
me
did,
like
but-
babysit once, and I was straight up like, I don't have the credentials to like nanny. I don't have like whatever
Yeah,
things
that's
you
a
need.
separate job.
Yeah,
That's
I
all you have to
literally was
say.
like, absolutely not, you know? So, wow.
Yeah.
But that's insulting for sure.
But I also love restaurants.
You do love restaurants. I think I love the private, taking care of people more than I love restaurants. And I can appreciate it more now that I'm away from it. But when I was in it, and maybe it's because of my youth, I didn't like the loud noises. I was just like
Oh, I
very
don't like that either, to be
sensitive
honest.
person, and I'm just like, this is too much.
This my most popular song right now. Y'all niggas know this song. You know the lyrics. I'm gonna fuck everybody out, nigga. I need everybody right here, right now. What are you talking about? Cameraman, you too. You, CT. I'm pulling niggas out. Troy, Humble, everybody. Yo, Mom, I need you over here too. Yo, Nick, I need you over here too. Listen. Hey, yo. Throw some niggas, throw the Louis, my little Pepsi stand, Gucci, my little Pepsi stand, my little Pepsi stand. Throw some niggas, throw the Louis, throw the stand. Listen. Throw some niggas, throw the Louis, my little Pepsi stand, Gucci, yeah, Gucci, throw the Gucci.
Like in Greenpoint, there's a lot of bars that have been there for a very, very long time. There's some bars that are new, that are kind of coming out with different themes, that are coming out with different angles. But there's no bar specifically in Greenpoint that actually is black owned. I mean, that's just a fact. And there's no bars that are maybe not catering to hip hop audiences, live music, performances, and comedy, because like we have the space to do it. We've probably done more hip hop events in Greenpoint than maybe any other bar. The actual energy of the spirit of hip hop is like something that is like very Brooklyn. And so actually recently, I believe it was the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and that was kind of like one of the impetus for the show. And so when someone came along and they were like, we want to do a show, we definitely wanted to help them do that. And so we've done a number of hip hop shows though. So it's not that we are focused on hip hop or that we're like a hip hop bar, but we are not scared to do a hip hop.
Well, they worked out of a ghost kitchen in Long Island City. And this was when Long Island City was like the fucking hood, like the hood. And I say this because I was nervous to walk around, and my shift started at 9 p.m. at night, and it didn't finish until 9 a.m. So I was like the overnight chef. People who work at night are weird. I just have to
Oh, like
say,
overnight,
my
yeah, yeah.
team, I've never, like, I just think they were the loveliest oddball bunch. They're so weird. They're just the weirdest people, and trying to do team building and managing these people. And then I was just like, I'm also absolutely strange because I've chosen to do this. Like, I'm bonkers for wanting to do this. But like, they normally pick, these people that I worked with, they just like working at night. So they just strategically only find jobs that are just full nighttime, and they sleep during the day. That's a whole other level of like thinking and lifestyle.
It's because they want to be alone.
Yeah,
Because they're introverted or private or
yeah.
have demons.
That's it, right? Like the certain things they'd say, and I'd be like, I'm in charge, but also I don't know what to say to you. It's really weird that you just said that to me, and I'm not sure how to react to that. And I have to be your, I have to be the one telling you what to do. You know?
happens during the day too, though.
Yeah. It's always, I mean, back when it was 2015, I was just sort of starting out, and I was still sort of figuring out how to lead in the kitchen as someone that's like 5'2" and petite. And everybody was burly and big, and it just felt like that. And like they just had this like level of force in them that I just, at that time, did not carry within me. I think I've always innately had it, but I was still sort of figuring out what my center was as a chef. And when you're with like those types of personalities in the middle of the night, all of it being like, it's shaking me to my core and being like, what the fuck did you just say? And like, how do I respond to this? And it was always just like commentary that would just come out and then go back to work, and like they didn't even say anything, and everybody was okay with it. And it's, yeah.
What's an example of something crazy someone said? Can you say, or?
No, some of it's really racist or super sexual, and it's just like not even. but it was a dysfunctional crew, including myself, because I'm not a nocturnal person and I was trying to be nocturnal. So, I did the best I could with my level of ability. After a while, you're just like, okay, you're not going to please everybody. I mean, you learn that, but like when you're in charge and you're doing it for the first time, you really want to make everyone happy, and then you're like, well, the eggs weren't
It's
dry.
nice when you reach the point in your culinary career, though, where like feedback doesn't feel personal anymore.
Yeah,
Like, that's just information.
Right.
Incorporate it in, and
Yeah.
the best for me was when I started working with John George and his team, and like, because I had been getting feedback for years from various sources, but I never felt like any of those sources were like people that I trusted to give me feedback. So I would be like defensive, right? Because they'd be like, you don't know anything,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
But when I started working with those guys, it was like, oh, you're clearly way more experienced and way better at this than I am. And it's actually exciting to get your feedback. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm like, I want to know.
Well, here's
It'll
the
make
thing.
everything better.
They don't have your mind and your skill level in like the plant-forward world. They just don't do vegetables the way you do it.
Perhaps, but
yeah.
I think they understand like balance and
Sure.
what the world wants.
Right. What is your favorite produce right now?
Favorite produce right now?
Like right now, at this moment?
Eating a lot of melon.
Melon.
Well, as you know, my wife is pregnant and she's loving melon. And it's my favorite fruit besides passion fruit.
Yeah.
And so I just bring home all kinds of stuff like little baby Japanese watermelons,
Right.
Charentais melons
Oh my
that are
God.
like so stinky and smell them from across
You
the.
must love that though.
Yeah, we love it together.
Yeah.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Take that. Jamie.
Hey, y'all doing? I go by the name of Jamie, so I want everybody, if y'all sitting down, when I perform, I want everybody to turn up with me, so I want everybody to stand up, if y'all could, please, for real. So that means shorty right here, yup, appreciate you. Sometimes, bro, like, I just be wake up in the morning and I be going through some shit, so sometimes I don't feel like talking, I don't really feel nobody at all. But this is some shit that I put together when I was thinking about my bro that passed away. And bro had a similar instance when he had his bro that passed away, so we just gonna share our pain real quick, for me. I be pulling by myself cause I don't feel nobody here when they needed it, I had it, they ain't hear no from me, that's why I move the way I move, bitch, I ain't no belly, my body different, I be tripping, man, I used to be bummed, all this fake shit that came with your love, I can afford it, too much times right now I feel like I can't afford it, 10 toes down on the floor, remember I wanted it all and I'm sure of it, look, it's the shit that you showed me in the side, I'm just so I'm keeping the way I'm feeling inside, I swear that I be working, it's my memories, I don't ever see me, they sleep with me, I ain't even surprised, even tell me what's real, I think I needed to find, my heart is cold as sin, just leave it, don't even tie, and we don't need it, cause that shit be taking some time, I don't think if you wanna leave that the first time, make it sing the third eye, you can get the same bounds, I would just say time, maybe make the pain high.
My work is, my work is so much a part of my identity. Like some people are like, no, you're supposed to like live for other things, not work. But like I live for the things I create and put out in the world. Like that's what matters to me so much. And there's like no other reason to work and get paid if like it's not a piece of your identity that you are putting out into the world for other people to share with other people and to have them be improved or enjoy it or imbibe in it, all that. Like there's just no point. If you're gonna get paid to do something, it should actually do some good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, although now I'm going through a bit of a crisis because I'm about to have this little baby girl, and I'm like, is it all gonna flip, Like, I don't know how I can continue to
Well, we're gonna see what happens.
be consumed like this by the work.
It's gonna have a different type of message. It's gonna be shaped differently because this meaning that this daughter gives you will reflect in your work in a different way.
Yes, but it might also just like,
Change you into not wanting to do this.
I might not be able to do it anymore.
Yeah,
Like, that's
that's
a
also
real thought I've
possible.
had. Like,
That's fine.
I don't know if I can continue to do my current job
Yeah,
and also be a parent because
very possible.
there is a reason why it's a lot of young people doing it. Or,
Let me know. We'll brainstorm. There's so many things you can do. Oh, I get so excited thinking about it. There is a moment when you're creating a dish, you can just like feel it's coming, it's almost perfect, and like that excitement. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like there's such a like.
That's what I live for.
Me too. Like it's like the joy I feel like goes from my heart to like right here, and it like just keeps going up, and it's like this like glow, and I'm like, it's coming, and then the moment that dish is perfect, I just want to dance and party and celebrate.
Yeah, it's funny you say dance because I'm not like much of a like dancer, like bubbly personality,
Yeah.
but when I'm like eating things that are good, like my body involuntarily like does the dance, so my team makes fun of me for that.
I'm the same way.
Don't speak on shit I speak. What? Don't speak on shit I speak. I don't wanna make sure you great. Every day wake up, chase me. Love it. I don't rap shit, I love it. But now we gotta turn the fuck up. I need all the bodies to come over here and shake some ass. Let's go. Come on.
That's what I live for. If I can make someone cry because they ate my food, but like cry from joy of like how perfect it is, I've done it.
No, I like
Yeah.
those moments too.
Yeah, there was this fried halloumi at Cha-nae-nae. It was in their salad. I don't know if you've had it. Have you had their fried halloumi?
Where?
At Cha-nae.
I don't
It's
think
in
I've had that.
West
I've been to
Village.
Cha-nae-nae.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still serving that salad with fried halloumi. I'm sure they're just serving the fried halloumi, but that salad with that dressing, with the fried halloumi. I remember the first time I bit it, I actually started crying.
It's a great restaurant.
But it was like the best thing I've eaten in a really long time. And my siblings were sitting next to me, and I started to cry. And my sister was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Because she just didn't understand the reaction. And then she took a bite, she put one in her mouth, and she was just like, "Oh." And like she got, like, it's just those moments, right? Where like food just brings tears to your eyes.
I always think about the restaurants that are the most consistent because I know intimately how hard it is to stay consistent. Like a consistent level of quality.
Yep. Yeah.
Professionalism is very difficult.
I think
And so
that's
when I go to a
why-
place and it's always good, I find that very impressive.
And it always tastes the same, right? Yeah. Spice Market, John George's Spice Market, when I worked there, that's what I was impressed at most because it was around for 10 years, maybe more. I think definitely for 10 years. It's that 2-floor restaurant, and everything that they had tasted the same every single time you went. And they were so specific, things like 5 pieces of chive. And if you put the six accidentally, like a little piece of chive was on it, the sous would bring it back. And like you had to fix it all over. Obviously that makes you develop like OCD, like real like crazy neurosis. I have to say though, it builds quite a discipline, and I'm so glad I did it. That kind of training is really important.
Discipline in food is kind of fading.
Very
a little
important,
bit.
yeah.
I think it's fading a little bit. I think
Now?
it's,
You think so?
I think it's changing a lot right now. I mean, I rarely meet people now that want my job. Like when I started, everyone that worked with me wanted my job.
Your job.
Not like they wanted to take my job, but
No,
like
but
they wanted a job like mine.
that, yeah.
Like they thought like that was the
That was the
pinnacle. Like
pinnacle.
it'd be so cool
We
to
were
be a
taught
chef.
that.
Now I almost never meet somebody that thinks that. They
Why
think
do you
I'm crazy.
think that is? Wait, why do you
And
think
they
that
want to
is?
cook for like a year or two maybe and then like do something else.
Why do you think that is that they don't want your job anymore?
I think it's just too easy to have a relationship to food and not work hard. The information is out there. Like you don't need to become a cook to taste or cook the best food anymore. I would argue that to be a cook is still different because of like the repetition and the obsession and like
much more to
it
it
makes
than
you so
being
much
able to-
better.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh no, I can be a foodie. Like I can like learn about all the things. I can read all their books. I can have a, you know, a sous vide machine in my house. This and that.
Does the word foodie make you cringe?
Yes, big time.
Me too. I never like the word. And when somebody calls themselves that, as much as they love and appreciate food, I have a hard time taking themselves seriously because...
I don't think it indicates that they love and appreciate food. I think it indicates that they've chosen food as an identity.
Oh, there you go. That's a better way to...
Which is very superficial and irritating.
I'm a butterfly, taking my time. I'm a skeleton.